The cold night air was thick with mist as Officer Ryan patrolled the empty highway, his headlights cutting through the darkness like a knife. It had been an uneventful shift so far, just a few speeding cars, some routine stops, nothing out of the ordinary. But as he rounded a bend, a rusty old sedan sped past him, swerving slightly. Instinct kicked in, and he flicked on his sirens, pulling the car over. The vehicle rolled to a stop by the side of the road, and Ryan stepped out cautiously, one hand resting near his holster. Approaching the driver's side window, he tapped gently, and it slid down with a creak. Behind the wheel sat a man in his mid-30s, his eyes sunken, his hands trembling slightly on the steering wheel. "License and registration," Ryan said, his voice firm but calm. The man fumbled through his glove compartment, his fingers shaking as he handed over the papers. Something felt off. The man avoided eye contact, his breathing uneven, and there was a faint, almost metallic scent in the air. Ryan's gut told him to be careful. He cast a glance toward the back seat, and that's when he saw it, a small puppy, curled up on a blood-stained blanket. His breath caught in his throat, his pulse quickening. The tiny creature barely moved, its fur matted, its frail body rising and falling with shallow breaths. Ryan's mind raced. Was this a case of animal abuse? A smuggling operation? But before he could react, the driver spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Officer, please, you have to help me. It's not what it looks like." Ryan, still on edge, asked the man to step out of the car. The man complied, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "Explain," Ryan demanded, his eyes flicking between the man and the injured puppy. The man's voice cracked as he spoke. "I found her on the side of the road. Someone dumped her, she was barely breathing. I couldn't just leave her there." His eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I was speeding because I was trying to get to the nearest vet. Please, officer, she's dying." Ryan's chest tightened. He looked back at the fragile creature, now letting out the faintest whimper. The blood, was it hers? Noticing the desperation in the man's voice, Ryan's instincts shifted from suspicion to urgency. "Get in my car," he ordered. "I'll escort you." No sirens, no delay, they drove at top speed, reaching the nearest vet in minutes. As they burst through the clinic doors, a nurse rushed forward, taking the puppy from the man's arms. "She's critical, but we'll do our best," the vet assured them. The man sank into a chair, his hands covering his face. Ryan sat beside him, no longer an officer interrogating a suspect, but a human witnessing another's compassion. Minutes felt like hours, but finally, the vet emerged. "She's weak, but she'll make it," he said with a reassuring nod. The man's relief was palpable, his body sagging with exhaustion. Ryan, too, felt a weight lift off his chest. That night, he had stopped a car expecting trouble, but instead, he had witnessed kindness in its purest form. As he walked back to his patrol car, he glanced at the man one last time, now stroking the tiny puppy with newfound hope. Ryan drove away, his faith in humanity just a little stronger than before.